Jared Kelly here at Peegs.com with football writer Matt Weaver. We are here at spring football Saturday. Matt, obviously, not a whole lot to take from this, but we did see some scrimmage portions of the practice. What's I guess, initial impressions stood out to you?
Well, I mean, the guys who've been looking good all spring, Andre Carter's, Linnell Carr's, Donovan McCauley, Jalen Lucas, those guys continue to, stand out today. I thought the quarterback play, I mean, it's still too close to call. And I asked Coach Allen after in the press conference, if they're close to start, and I knew he'd say no. I just wanted to see what it would be. And but I thought Brendan Sorsby looked pretty good. I mean, I thought they both looked pretty good, but Brendan Sorsby, I thought, threw the ball well.
I was going to ask about the quarterback competition. Obviously, Tom Allen said too close to call right now. Going into the fall, how do you see those two guys maybe separating themselves in their different skill sets?
I just think it's going to be come down to consistency. Who consistent can put the practice after practice after practice together. They're both young. They're both inexperienced. Neither one of them hardly played at all in a game. So I think it's whoever can kind of, take hold of that offense. And I don't think it's just on the field. I think it's overall in the locker room, in the meeting rooms and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff we won't see, we won't know. We might be able to see it as we get into fall camp, kind of who's separating. But, I think they've got two good options, but they're both really young, and obviously there's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah, on defense, we saw some good things too. Andre Carter obviously stood out along the defensive line, Western Michigan transfer. Just what stood out to you on defense? Obviously, I think defense won the day in the scrimmage.
Yeah, I think up front. I mean, and I've noticed that the last couple of weeks, I think the D-line has improved. And I know people are worried about the O-line, but I think this D-line, some of the transfers they brought in, Carter, Linnell Carr, Marcus Burris, Philip Leedy, I think they brought in some quality guys. They need to get a little bit more depth behind them. And then at linebacker, you got Aaron Casey, and then Jacob Magum-Farrar, I think I think he was recognized after practice. He's had a good spring. So they've got some depth there. The secondary is probably the biggest question mark for me, just because there's so many new faces, so many guys. Even the transfers at corner really haven't played much. But I think there's a lot of athleticism on defense. It's just now getting those guys ready to play come, September 2nd.
And then lastly, skill position on offense. Obviously, we've seen some movement there, some new faces. E.J. Williams, they caught a touchdown today. Jalen Lucas got on the field. Josh Henderson. What are we looking at the skill positions? Tight end 2 is a little hit or miss right now, too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Don McCulley's got a chance to be really good. You're going to get Cam Camper back in the fall. I think E.J. Williams is another long, athletic guy. And then they got some smaller guys like a Cam Perry. Jalen Lucas can play some receiver for you. Omar Cooper's another young guy who's showed some stuff in the spring. They're going to get DeQuish Carter in this summer, the transfer from Fordham, who was incredibly productive. Receiver, I thought Aaron Seifeld had some nice catches today. He mentioned a portal guy at tight end in the press conference, so that'll be interesting. They'll get James Bomba back, who's more of the blocker. So I don't know if you're going to have a standout guy at tight end. It's going to be more of a group effort. But I do think there's some guys at receiver, Don McCauley, Camper, E.J. Williams, who have a chance to really have big years.
Well, that'll do it for spring football Saturday. We'll see how the Hoosiers look going into the fall. For Matt Weaver, I'm Jared Kelly. See you at Peegs.com.